And if you're trying to play dumb, they'll catch you.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just going to open up a can of worms for bad relationship for a whole year right now.
Hello and welcome back, everybody. I am Nate, joined by Nir Berkovich, the CEO of Soho Construction, and you're listening to the Builder's Blueprint podcast. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about how to communicate bad news to clients without losing trust, which is probably one of the hardest things to learn. And I think it's inevitable with anything. There's three things in life that are always true. We've got death, taxes, and construction delays. It's almost always going to happen. Every project you'll find this. There will be something that will be thrown off. There is never always a perfect project, even though we try to get as close as possible. So today we're going to talk about some of the experiences we've had, solutions that you can bring to your clients, or if you are the client, ways that you can manage and set expectations for yourself throughout a project. So let's start it off. Nir, we're going to talk about sharing just tough news. So I guess to frame this, let's say we had a project, something's going on, things running smooth, and suddenly we ran into a wall, need to frame something, plumbing line won't fit, gonna have to be a big change order, rework it. How do you deliver that news when you've got a client who's like, hey, I was expecting this to be done in 3 weeks from now, and now you're saying it's gonna get pushed off? Like, what do you do? How do you address that? How do you even try to think about that with the team so everyone's all aligned?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I guess you're right. There's no clean project, especially when you're talking about remodeling projects. But I think it will all start with how you're preparing your client way before the project starts. Means that if you do foresee an issue, or if you do have a protocol in regards to what's going to happen if you see an unforeseen beam or an unforeseen condition within the wall, what's the process going to look like, and you are meeting with your clients and you're explaining every step of the process. Okay, that's what I know, right? Let me run a scenario with your client. If I'm going to open that wall and I'm going to figure out there is without jacked up plumbing, electrical situation behind, I'll come clean, call you right away, and get you to site or get you enough information for you to understand what is going on. And my dad used to tell me, when you believe in what you're saying, you don't need to give excuses or to apologize. You got to be very clear on what you know, what you don't know, and you can do just as much to get as much of it figured out ahead of time. But at the end of the day, you should feel very comfortable bringing your clients to site and say, here you go. That is what's going on. So two things: you got to try and foresee it ahead of time and say, these are problematic walls. I would love to cut the drywall open, make sure it's happening, and leave the client to decide if they want to do it or not. If they want to do it, you're probably going to be able to give them a more accurate, standpoint of the situation. And if they do not want to do it, here's what's going to happen. That's also true to other walls. We're not cutting open at the moment, but it's also for a lot of different things. And you got to be true with your contract and plans. If it was on the plans and you missed it, just apologize. Say, hey, I missed it. I'm taking on it. Even if it's not part of your contract, it's just, for me, it's code. You try and take it on. And if it's questionable thing, try and explain why. Just communicate the situation as clean as possible.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think that's a good answer. I think maybe spending the time a little bit up front. I mean, that's the most important. You got a couple months with the client where you can continue to kind of be guiding them and teaching them and explaining like process, and always bring it back to the process of, okay, this thing happened. Here's the process we've done the whole time. Okay, here's the problem. We have a solution. Here you go. Which options would you like to take? Let's move it forward. And I think when you kind of take a step back and clarify it for people, I think that helps mitigate some of the initial, maybe sometimes irrational anger and frustration that first comes out. Obviously, I don't think you can expect anyone to get bad news and also just be like, that's cool. like you do have to have some
hard. You're right.
That
you have to come. You have to
hardness.
Listen, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you discussed it ahead of time and it happened, then it happened, right? Mm-hmm. You both as a team, you were aware to the situation that might going to happen, and it happened. You didn't know that. They didn't know that. Everybody got the option to inspect it ahead of time, or to be as detailed as possible, but you're always going to come up with something. And it's just a matter of like, being pleasant and come clean and explain and hope for the best, really.
Mm-hmm. Now, would you say it's the same thing? Because there's kind of different instances where this happens. There's the obvious, it's behind the walls. It's different. It wasn't what we expected. This wasn't included. Yada yada. Right. How would you handle the same thing if, let's say, they have a $10,000 glass table? Our guy is there just to paint, touch up, slips, drops, ladder lands on it, shatters it. How do you handle that? Or throws away a range that we weren't supposed to? What do we do?
That's on you, dude. That's on you. You should. That's the cost of doing business. First of all, report right away. Don't wait with it. Report, and while reporting, even if it's painful, right? It's your. I'm not gonna worry about it. Your grandfather's ash on this table that you just broken, and that's even personal and emotional, and there is no number to it. Just explain what happened. Tell the truth, and right away tell them it's going to be on me to repair whatever it takes, and that will give you better results than try and argue and give excuses and blame earthquakes or the letter or the wall or the painter. The painter is you, you're the painter, and that's the situation. It just happened multiple times with us, right? And we always, doesn't matter, we made sure the clients are not the one usually paying for it. Unless it's not clear or stuff. But if you broke into, if you damage their property, it's on you. Just report, offer a solution or compensation, and move on.
Yeah, I think there's a really great book written about this exact same topic of like it's extreme accountability, and I don't know if it's a book or it's just a guy who speaks on it, but he always says like that same thing, and that the power it actually gives you in conflict and also in resolutions and just moving forward is like when you just take on extreme accountability and just say, it doesn't matter if it was maybe the painter or an earthquake, whatever it was, it happened, it was my project, it was my job. And I think when you bring that to somebody and deliver that news with, this is what happened, I'm responsible for this. And then they can decide, who's really responsible or whatever, but, and figure it out. But when you come with that, it kind of shuts down all the arguments.
All the guards. I agree.
Yeah. I think they go, okay, now what,
You're so right. Every time I tried it, every time I said my fault in my whole life, doesn't matter what it was, it opened a door for me for better communication. And actually when you're saying my fault, then the clients are trying not trying to bullhead you and say, blah, blah, and start yelling at you and be pissed with the solutions you offer. Usually they're actually getting softer. They're coming up and say, hey, don't worry about it. Let's work something out. That's actually the end result. You want to work something out. And if you're coming in clean, you're saying my fault, because our clients are well-educated, smart clients. We're doing high-end remodels, high-end new builds. They got money, means they know something about life. And if you're trying to play dumb, they'll catch you.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just going to open up a can of worms for bad relationship for a whole year right now. So It is a bumpy road, and you should come clean every time you made a mistake and explain how it happened, and that it's not representing your brand as a whole. And the representation of the brand is fixing it. That's what you do. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
When it's your fault.
Yeah.
When it's your fault. When it's clear. When it's clear. Yeah.
So on that point of things that can go around, I think one that's maybe not breaking something is a little easier. Is just project delays, right? We're running along, things are moving smoothly. Something happens that no one was expecting. An inspector doesn't show up. Yada. Just delayed the project, pushed it on. Sometimes it feels like there's like, when do you tell the client? And when do you say, hey, there's a delay? Because I don't think anyone needs to know, like, oh, there's a 15-minute delay that this guy's not going to be there. Like sometimes it's like, well, we had 3 days we planned for. We think it's actually going to end up taking 4. And like, do you just try to lay that out as plain and simple as possible? Or do you try to avoid getting into the details and the weeds?
It's a complex question. It depends on the situation. If I do see a project delay like as a whole means that we're not going to meet the deadline, leave the phase delay, like the whole deadline, then I will communicate that as soon as I know. We said we're going to be done in August. That's what happened here. I can just give you 10 different examples right now on things that can delay your project. And as soon as I know it, I'll try and communicate that. If it's a phased delay, for example, the tile guys were supposed to start on Thursday and they will start on Friday, same moment, same minute. They were supposed to start on Thursday, they will start on Friday. Could be with no reason. Could be they're running thin, somebody is sick, or just the schedule works better for everybody. I'll communicate that right away. I think that what I'm trying to educate my clients on is here I'm giving you, starting date and finish date, and in between, let me play. Let me do my thing. That's what I do. That's what I'm good at. That's the cost, trying to stick to the budget and the cost and take it from A to B in my own way that I think is the best for your property, for the project. Sometimes it goes just by the plan. Sometimes you're modifying, changing things. As long as they know that you're coming with the right intention, they will accept delays or change of schedule. But as anything else, just communicate that as early as possible and try not to be, don't try and nitpick on every single delay. 15 minutes delivery delay, fine. Other things, if they're actually waiting, expecting you, that's very unprofessional not to show up.
Yeah.
Or your trade to show up.
Or then, if they're there at 8 and they don't show up till 10.
That's not happening to us anymore. Yeah. 8. Like I do not see it. The quality of trades we're using, quality of subs is just, for us, it's just basic.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, obviously your point is just, if you're just a straight shooter of this is the time that we expected this to get done. And I like what you said, like anything between, let me figure this out. That's why you're paying us, right? I think there's a fine line between, being the client and being the project manager. Because like the client's aware of the timeline we have, right? But at the end of the day, it's like, well, that is a timeline we created. We're managing this project. We're managing these subs. If I need them to just move really quickly on these 3 items that maybe that they were going to take 3 weeks for it, and like I need you to do 2 because this guy delayed us for these 3 days back here, so we need to catch up and we need to move some stuff around to make this work.
Because there's nothing that makes me happier than looking at the Gantt charts and see ourselves within the timeline. That means that our company is operating properly. It means that we know what we're doing, and that's our company's goal, is to be within the timeline. I do not want to have any delays, just like you, dear client. But sometimes things will happen. My job is to say, okay, drop tiles, scratch that, move on to drywall. Get the tile later. After a tile, we're supposed to do like finish paint, scratch that, he's busy, get the lumber installed. Whatever it is, right? But you are trying to move to kind of push through and meet your originals, and not necessarily all the blocks in between.
Yeah. And I think it's good that you set that up front with the clients too, that it's like, this is what will happen and this is how we manage it. This is why you're hiring us, by the way, because you don't need to stress about it happening. Like if you can I feel like if you can build that trust and they're like, okay, yeah, they'll get this done. I understand. It's just that repetition of repeating that this is what's happening. You're quick to say this delay happened. This is what we're doing to resolve it. Boom, done. Like it just takes some of that internal stress off of them, which at the end of the day, I mean, that's what you're trying to do as a GC, is you're trying to manage emotions and you're trying to manage a project and make sure they both align and it's clean. And it's hard to do and it takes time and you learn and you practice. But I think these are all things that the answers, at least we're getting from Nearsavar, man, these are all things that like, yeah, this is stuff that we've learned over time and it works and it's the right way to do it.
Here, so you're part of Soho and we're all part of that company. And I think what keeps us together, accountable to the brand, is that the fact that we're usually, we stand behind what we say. Not usually, we stand behind what we say, and we're always telling the clients the truth, the absolute truth, even if it hurts. We're smart about it, right? We're not trying to do dumb moves, but we're still going to stand behind the truth always. And I do believe that as a long-term, philosophy, that's the only thing going to propel your business to the next step.
Yeah.
So be honest and push hard. Don't be lazy.
Yeah.
Deliver what you got to deliver. We're going to have delays, you guys. It's not going to stop.
So then when we're in this, because obviously there's still some stress, we're still imagining we're in this situation with the client, right? So moving forward the plan, are we just detailing out way over extreme? This is everything that's happened. Here's everything. Are you kind of what we talked about earlier? Just this is the thing. These 4 things will happen. We'll be done. We'll be through it. What do you think? It obviously depends on the client.
Yeah,
Some
it
people
depends. You
need
got to
more,
manage
but-
their energy. Like if they want to start super quick, there is no way for you to scope a 5,000 square feet, custom remodel in 30 days, right? You can tell them that's how much that's how deep I got with your plans. That's what missing me. As for today, here are the plans. Here's the plans missing me, and that's what I can get. I didn't have time because I dealt with scoping basic stuff like your foundation work, your framing work. I got no time yet to go into the details of your railing system. And you want a full bead, so it's missing. You know what I mean? So but on the other hand, sometimes you got clients that are like, hey, we're gonna start in 1 year. Here's your signed pre-construction. Your budget works for us. Then I got all the time in the world to go to all different fabricators, different price points, different designs, and get them to the finest detail. So it depends on their timeline and how stressed they are. And we got our own barriers. For example, we are not going to be able to go with a client that just do not understand like the basic, submitted plans price without any interior design elevations, without all material specifications. Just here's what I'm selling you, or it doesn't click, then you're usually not going to be a good fit anyways.
Yeah.
But we'll try and detail as good as possible within the time we got.
Yeah. And I think, on the new project and something signed that you're working on, I think that's good up front. And I think since they've probably been with you through the point where if it is the mistake in the drywall where you break something, like, I think they'll know that. And I think everyone's like, this thing has happened. We want to get through this phase, this mistake, this whatever it was, this thing in the drywall that we didn't know was going to be behind there. So I think at that point, sometimes maybe it's okay to say, this is the solution we're going to do. We might not know, I need this many hangers, I need this many studs to make this thing happen, to fix this thing in the drywall that was or installed incorrectly previously, that we have to come back and fix. I think sometimes it's okay to say, this is what we're going to do. Here's the price of doing it, and let's get this thing moving so we can continue the project and meet the deadline. At the end of the day, that's important for everybody.
Right.
So yeah, I think overall, it's. I honestly feel like the biggest lesson takeaway for anybody is when something happens, rip off the Band-Aid, tell somebody and say, this is what happened. Here's what we're doing. Even if it's, I don't have the answer yet, but we're working on it right now with our team, and we'll have an answer for you by the end of the day.
Speak their language, right?
Yeah.
Meet them on site, show them the wall, get some maybe video type, if you can video that conversation, of course, with their approval, just to put everything in the right order and make sure you're always you stand behind facts, and that will save you a lot of issues. Maybe you'll lose a couple of dollars on things you will be able to manage differently. Maybe you'll pay a little bit more out of pocket and see change it on your first couple of years when you're going to miss a lot of stuff, right? But down the line, it will create a better clientele, relationships, and the relationships will move you forward.
Yeah.
So it's some sort of a trade, and you're trading a couple of dollars for a couple of projects, and I think it's worth it. It's a better ROI.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and last thing, and if it's your project and you're the salesperson, I think don't let someone else deliver bad news. Like, don't let your admin person deliver bad news. Don't let the guy in the field doing the framing deliver bad news. Have it come back to you. You have the relationship with the client. You sold this thing to them.
You know them.
And so just be there and just say, sorry, I've got to tell this to them. I've got to take my time, whatever it is. Got to walk out of my meeting, give them a 5-minute call and say, hey, I'm here. I'll talk to you a little bit more later. But like, set aside some time for them. These people are important. You were important enough to them to select you to be their contractor.
I agree.
So,
Big ones for sure. Sometimes you got to do that, and it's always not the first thing you want to do in the morning, or the thing you want to do. It's like, oh shit, that's the last thing on your list that you want to do. But sometimes it saves you and the team so much time, and takes off so much stress, and just puts you in a better position.
Yeah.
For the day.
Yeah. Okay. So that kind of summarizes the gist of how to communicate bad news to your clients. Just remember, if you're new, it's going to happen. Just follow these steps, keep it simple, and keep it moving.
And yeah, if you got any questions, you can always drop a comment or leave a note, and we'll try and even hop on a call and give you some of our insights. If you're facing a big issue right now and you really don't know how to come out of it, reach out. We'll try and kind of take it from there and help you out and see what we can do to support you or to give you a good advice, connect with the right people to get you out of the situation you're at. Because if you are listening to this podcast and it's not small and it's big and you're you're hitting a wall and you're in the middle of nowhere, you don't know what to do, seek for advice. I think that's another piece of advice I got is don't try and solve everything by yourself.
Yeah. If you're the guy who tipped over that house in the middle of the 15 freeway yesterday and needs some help, feel free. I'd love to hear that story.
Yeah, actually, I don't like that guy. I'll skip him.
All right. Well, that has been the Builders Blueprint podcast. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thanks, Nate.